Good evening, everyone. Just like I said before, for if you're joining me here in Nigeria, happy independence and happy holidays. And I hope we're having a great day. So, for those of us that are new to what maybe Hacktoberfest is or to what open source is, right? We are going to be talking all about that today. Some interesting projects that we've set up to help people get started in open source, right? On the MLSA path, the focus is on AI, right? And then let's say machine learning, data science. So we have some nice projects that have been set up that are beginner friendly also, which is always the goal that we can all participate in to get very familiar with open source and how to make meaningful contributions. I hope we're all excited. So let's get into it. So for this year in particular, we are doing this in tandem, or let me say, in partnership with the GitHub Campus Experts UNILAG. And that's just the flyer I just tried to display now. I believe, please, can you confirm you can see my screen, anyone? Hello? Or can anyone hear me? Let me check the chats. Hello?
We can hear you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So like I said, this year we're doing it in you can't see my screen yet.
No, I can't.
Oh, okay. Is anyone also facing? Oh, you can't see my screen also. Oh,
We can hear you, but
I
we
will
can't
see
see
your
your
screen.
screen.
Oh, okay. Come. What about now?
Yes, we can.
All right. So, like I was saying, we're doing this. Okay, I think we've heard that part already since you said you can hear me, right? And on the fly, you see that the AI project which we've set up are in the MLS level. Other exciting projects that have to do with front-end development, back-end, some CLI tools, and the rest of that are on the GitHub Campus Experts UNILAG chapter repo. So, and then this is open to all, right? In full, actually, it's MLSs across Nigeria that are putting this together. But then, as regards the focus in terms of the GC repos and everything, that is directly with UNILAG. So this is open to everyone, whether you're joining from Lagos or wherever you are all over the world. Hacktoberfest is a global event to celebrate open source or to get people started into open source. So let me get right into it actually. Um, in case you're new to open source, basically, let me just do a quick search, right? And then we can just explain what open source is. I didn't have that. So from what we can see here, this software, right, says is a computer software that is released under a license in which the copyright holder grants users the right to use, study, change, and distribute software and the source code to anyone for any purpose. So basically, open source, right, is an approach or a system where you are building something or you're building a project or whatever it is, right? And then you make it open. So the code is open. It's not necessarily free. So many times people make open source and something being free as I like. Most times, yes, open source tools or projects are free, but a few many other times to some open source projects like maybe full-fledged applications that maybe their code is open source but then maybe there's some subscription or whatever it is you have to like, make to be able to use those applications. But more often than not, open source tools are free, right? So it just means that, I mean, and there are different platforms. GitHub is what we're focusing on, right? GitHub is one of them. You have Bitbucket and the rest of it. And these are version control tools. So basically, a version control tool is a tool where you can, make contributions, right? You have a code, and then you want other people to use your code and then make changes to it and things like that. And then, oh, okay, you like the change that this person made, and then you add it to your own and things like that. So basically, like a contribution kind of style where everybody can have access to your code. You can see the changes that were made 2 years ago. You can see the recent changes. If you want to go back to the last 2 years changes, you can easily do that and things like that. So if you're familiar with GitHub, then in one way or the other, you have started contributing to open source, right? So in summary, right, Hacktoberfest is that event that is dedicated, or that's, yeah, let me use the word dedicated to open source. So you have different repos. So once you see a repo basically with this tag, then it means that that repo is actually is dedicated to Hacktoberfest, right? So, and in summary, let me put it this way, like for Hacktoberfest, in case you're not familiar with what Hacktoberfest is, right? It's a month long. So if you hear Hacktober, it sounds like October, right? It's a month-long celebration of all things open source. So maybe not entirely GitHub. We are focusing on GitHub. We have GitLab, right? I think Hacktoberfest just supports GitHub and GitLab. So basically trying to like, encourage people to get started in open source. There are usually prizes for the first, I think, about 10,000 people to make their pull request, right? So let's say you make a contribution to a project. Let me just explain what a pull request is, right? Let's say I see this project now, and then I find something interesting about it, and I think I want to make a change. So let's say, for example, I open this code, and then I'm seeing something. Maybe a person misspelled GitHub, for example. This is like a very basic contribution, right? Maybe the person uh, made a mistake and wrote GitHub, like let's say he swapped the T and the H, right? I can easily, this is the project repo. Now you can see that this is not my personal repo. My personal is Samibam Samobambola, right? I can decide to fork this repo, right? So fork basically is like, okay, I see this just like you have someone's notes, and then you make a photocopy of that note. That photocopy is now your own. But if you change anything in your own photocopy, maybe you cross out something, and then you shade out something, or you are doing your own reading and you're highlighting, right? Those changes that you make in your photocopy would not reflect on the person that you snapped from yet. But let's imagine that all those changes you made in your own photocopy, you want it also to reflect in that person's own, right? Of course, that's not entirely possible. What you can do is that maybe the person will now scan your own photocopy, so you have a photocopy of your own photocopy. But that's just I'm just trying to basically explain how forking works, right? So let's imagine I want to make that change, right? I can do a fork from this particular repo to my own. So basically, I'll be creating a photocopy to my own. So let me say I create a fork, right? And in case you're new to GitHub too, this is basically how you can get yourself familiar with how GitHub works in terms of version control, like I explained. So you can see now as I've forked this particular repo, you can see fork from this, right? If I want to make changes, I can now easily make changes in my own. It's not going to affect that person's original one, right? So let me just quickly make a quick change, like I mentioned. So let's actually imagine that the person made an error. So I'll just edit this file. I'll click edit, and then let's say I'm going to swap this. I mean, of course, this is wrong, but let's just commit changes. So a commit, when you're committing changes, basically mean that you're saving it to GitHub, right? Or you're saving it to Git. So you can save locally. Let's say you're working locally and things like that. You can save locally, and then you that's your normal save. But if you want to, like, push it to GitHub so that other people can see that you those change this ones you just saved on your computer, right? People should be able to see it too. Then you commit it, right? So it's basically you say yeah, Git committing that particular uh, change that you made. So let me just commit the changes, and then it basically saves. So if somebody comes to my own fork, they will see that I've changed this to GitHub. You can see the message up top here, updated later, but just now, right? If I open it, you see that anybody can come in and see that I've changed this to GitHub instead of GitHub. So now that I've made these changes to my own fork, I now want the changes I've made to reflect in this main one. I made a photocopy of someone's note. I've done some jottings and everything. I want those changes to now reflect, right, in the person that I got it from. So in terms of open source contributions now, the next thing I have to do is create a pull request. And you can easily do so by just clicking this contribute here, or one commit ahead. But I mean, it basically does the same thing. So you can just click contribute, and then you see open a pull request. If you read it, you see it says open a pull request to contribute your changes upstream. Upstream is where I got it from, which is this that has been highlighted here. Before I go on, I just want to know if everyone is with me or if I'm moving too fast. So if you have any questions, I just basically want to explain what open source is, right? Understand why we're actually doing this, what it means before we now go ahead and talk about some of the projects that we have in plan that I've made for us to get started with. Is anyone with me? Hello.
Yes, we're
Yeah,
with
well,
you.
sure.
We
Yes.
are with
Yeah, we
you.
are with you. Yes, we are with you.
Yeah, we are with you.
All right. So moving on. Let's say I open pull request now. I can decide to name it whatever way. Okay, so let me just say something like, give it a very good name, or like a description of what I actually did. So once the owner of that repository sees my changes, you like understand straight away that, oh, this is what this person did. Let me accept it or reject it. So right, that's just a title. Of course, you go through and see. So let me just say rename GitHub to GitHub, and I create pull requests. So this is basically how you can make your first open source contribution, right? As simple as this. It can be something this simple, right? But of course, when we're building a more um, detailed project, it's not just going to be grammatical errors and stuff like that you might be fixing. So now you can see that it takes me to this page. So if I just go to pull request fully, you can see this renamed GitHub to GitHub pull request that I just made here. Open now by me, which is Sam Obangola, right? You can easily see this here. And then, sorry, let me just finish up. I think David has a question. I'll get to you shortly. So we can easily see this here. And then if the owner of this repo, this MLSC Nigeria person that has access to maybe make or let me say the maintainer of the project, right? So a maintainer is like someone that supersedes the project, like tracks progress, or is also a developer on that particular project and things like that. So once I decide that, oh, this thing, or the maintainer decide that this change that this person made, you see, I can also go ahead to like check the file changes, and you can see it shows me exactly what the person changed, right? So that's a version control tool. You can see exactly what has happened, and decide to make your own changes or whatever you want to do. So this is just a brief introduction into how open source works, what open source is, and then how you can make contributions in general. That is, if it's that you're entirely new to GitHub, open source, or Hacktoberfest in general. Does anyone have any questions so far? Then we'll get right into explaining the different projects. David, I can see your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, is this recorded? Can you hear me?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you very much.
Let me do a quick confirmation that yeah, it is. Okay. Thank you, David, for that. So I'm guessing no one else has a question. Okay. I'll take the silence as a yes. So moving on, like I mentioned. Okay. Abdullah, you can go ahead.
So I want to ask, sorry, can you hear me? No?
Yes, I can.
Can you hear me? Okay. So I want to ask, if suppose you have made a pull request and it has been matched, can it be reverted? Reverted, I mean.
Please come again. I didn't get that.
Okay. Suppose you made a pull request, right?
Mm.
And I am
Yeah.
the maintainer. I matched the pull request. And
Yeah.
is it possible for you that created the pull request, is it possible for you to revert it since I've matched it?
To revert it.
Yes, exactly.
So I don't. What do you mean by revert it? So like you don't want the
Like,
person to merge it again, or what?
yeah, suppose.
Okay. Oh, okay. That will not be in your hands anymore, right? But the only thing you can do is you can go back to the. So of course, you've made those changes, and then it has been merged. So you can go in your own repository and then change back to what it was before you made that pull request. Let's say this stage 1 now, you made a change, right? It was at stage 0, you made a change to stage 1, and then you open the pull request on stage 1 and it has been merged. But later you didn't want that stage 1 again. You want to go back to what it was, which was stage 0. You can make changes in your own repo to go back to stage 0, and then you now open a new pull request. So by the time you open a new pull request and that is merged to the one that the main MLSA Nigeria guy, like the maintainer, by the time it merges that your new change, it would reflect what it was at stage 0. You get?
Yeah, I get.
Okay, I think what it meant is that once you like, if there's a pull request that you've matched initially, as the person that matched the pull request, can you unmatch it?
Oh,
Like, can
if
you
that's what it
unmatch
means.
an already matched pull request? I think that's what it means.
No, you can't unmerge a pull request. You can always go back to what it was before you merged, but there is really nothing like unmerge. You just revert to the changes before it. So you can skip the last commit and make the repo go back to the. So let's say you've made 58 commits, right, so far. By the time your own pull request has been merged, it now becomes, let's say, 59. So I can't unmerge that pull request, which makes it 59. So what I can do is like, okay, what it was before your pull request came in was 58, right? So I'll just go back, I'll revert to the 58 commit. So that's how it can be done. There is really nothing like unmerge per se, but it has the same effect. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yes, it does.
All right. So I guess I'm seeing another hand. Oh, okay, Abdullah. I think okay, I already answered. Okay. Thank you very much for that. So let me go ahead into the different projects that we have that's on the MLSS side. While at some point, David Dada, which just asked about the recording shortly, will talk on GC and some of the plans they have too for web developers and software engineers in general. So the first one is this Speak to Docs project, right? It's I think for so many of us, I think we're familiar with generative AI, ChatGPT, and the likes. I don't think there's anyone on this call that maybe doesn't know about ChatGPT. But in case you don't know, ChatGPT is like an interface, right, where you can ask questions, make a prompt, make a request, and then a response is given back to you in form of text or maybe images or whatever it is, right, that you use ChatGPT for. You have so many other solutions like that. So in whole, you can call them generative AI or using large language models, for example. Of course, large language models, that means just text, get. So if you are familiar with that, and or if you use ChatGPT a lot, you know that sometimes you ask some specific questions and then it flops because it doesn't really have knowledge on that particular question you're asking. So let's say you're asking about uh, maybe something that was maybe let me use a course. I mean, I believe many of us here are students. Maybe a particular coursework, and then it doesn't have access to your lecturer slides. Maybe your lecturer has some, added information that is included in it, and you ask something similar to that, but ChatGPT doesn't answer it well. It gives a wrong answer. Then you should know that ChatGPT doesn't properly have the context to answer it. So a very simple way or practical way that developers or let me say AI engineers have come up with to solve this problem is something called RAG, right? So RAG means retrieval augmented generation, meaning, okay, this lecturer's notice, we do it already though, but of course, manually. So let's say you have that particular question, right? And then you have the part of the lecturer slide and you copy, let's say you highlight that part of the lecturer slide, and then you say, using this section that I've just pasted, answer the following question. So now this time around, ChatGPT will use the documents that you've given it, along with its own existing knowledge, to answer your own question. That's a simple way RAG works. But of course, this time you are copying and pasting manually by yourself. So a full RAG solution in the automated way is that document, that lecturer slide, is embedded and it is stored in a vector database. So meaning embedding basically means that the text are converted to numbers, right? In terms of their meanings. So let's say something is good and something is amazing. Let's say it has a score of 1. Something is bad, something is horrible, that's a score of 0. If something like fine comes in, fine will have maybe a score of maybe 0.99 or 0.9 or 1.1 or something, because it's very close to good and amazing, right? Or something like hate comes in, it's probably going to be like maybe 0.1 or minus 0.2 because it's closer to bad and bad is 0, right? So that's how embeddings work, right? And then since this text, this parts of the document have been embedded, when you ask a question, it will perform a similarity search. So it will also embed your question and perform a similarity search and return probably the top 2 or the top 3, whatever you decide, in the backend as a developer, um, parts or chunks, called chunks, right? Chunks of the document that best match. So of course, you cannot be passing the whole document every time. So it does it extracts like different portions of the documents, right? Just you also do that chunking by yourself, like while developing it for other people to use, you know. Then extract all those chunks and then maybe put them together as context and then, use that to answer your particular question. Let me just quickly show you a sample of what I mean here. I believe I should have, okay, let me type, okay. Let me see that. So this is just like a very quick sample. You can have this risk retrieval queue will retrieve the question out. I'd love to show something as well. I can't totally do that at the moment. So, but basically, what is happening is that this person's question is coming in, right? You can see prompt here. I hope you can see my screen. Let me increase this a bit. Okay, so you can see prompt here, and then you can see this retriever here, this retriever J, right? This is the vector store. This is just project I'm working on and has to do with retrieving different text like portions of a Sunday school lesson to answer your question, right? So in this vector store, right, it goes in and then it returns the top three. So this retriever J retrieves from this vector store and retrieves the top three, right? And then it passes it as context into the LLM. It passes as context into the LLM to, answer your question. We'll have a call later, to explain in details how RAG works. But I just want us to have a full understanding of how it works and how we're building a solution like that. So let me move on. So for this particular project, is a speech-enabled RAG solution, right? Where you'll be able to, instead of just typing your text the way ChatGPT works, you're able to record voice notes or upload voice notes or whatever it is, and then those voice notes are transcribed, and that's passed to the LLM to give you a response, and then those responses are converted to speech, and then you hear the response. I don't know if you're with me. So of course, it's mostly going to be text-based kind of responses. So just like the way maybe the Google Assistant works, or Siri, or other assistants like that you have, where you make a request, it responds also in audio, things like that. But of course, this one is using RAG now, where you can upload your document. So let's say you upload a particular note that you're studying, right? And then you ask a question with voice, and then it responds with voice, explaining it back to you too, right? So that's the idea of this project, and you can see the different details. You also have a leaderboard that we set up to count the number of merged PRs that you have. So it's from time to time we'll be checking the quality of the contributions too. So of course, if you're trying to beat and spam so many match PRs, you definitely maybe get some rejected too. So open source is about making meaningful contributions and not just anyhow contributions. So you can go through this project. Let me quickly drop this in the chat. For us that registered, you probably have this in your mail already, but just in case, I'll drop the link to this repo in the chats right about now, so you can be going through it. Is there anyone who can't see my screen? Olibenga just dropped something. Please, can we all see my screen?
Yes, I can.
We can.
Oh, okay. Probably maybe leave and join back and Benga. I don't know if that will work. Or maybe network. Sorry about that. So I just dropped the repo link in the chat so you can go through it. We have some starter notebooks, just like we always do, to make you have a feel of what the project is about. And then you have the requirements of TXT file and the guidelines. So we've inputted most of the things that you might want to make use of, the LLM, the OpenAI embeddings and all these things. So while making use of Azure OpenAI service, and just before I quickly move on, I'll just quickly want to explain what the Azure OpenAI service is. So it's basically OpenAI, but hosted on Azure. So if you're a student, right? So this is the interesting part. If you're a student, you can get access to Azure and $100 credit month yearly if you just verify that you're a student while signing up. So if you check out Azure for students, do a quick Google search on that. And if there's any MS on the group chat that can help me, drop the link in the chat too. If you check out Azure for students, you can easily sign up to get started with cloud services with Azure, and you get $100 credits. You don't need your credit card or anything like that to get started. Very, very straightforward. And then with that, you can get access. I believe you should be able to get access to Azure OpenAI service. But in case you don't, we've actually found a way to make everybody to be able to contribute. So in case you don't, you can request, right? We have the group chat for contributors to communicate. You can also do that on GitHub while you're responding to an issue, and then we would provide you a general key and endpoint, just like some of the things that you're seeing here, right? Uh, so those are like some of the things that you're seeing here, OpenAI version, OpenAI key, and stuff like that. Those things will be provided for you, to you, for just this month of Hacktoberfest to be able to like do the experimentation test and see what works while you're trying to contribute, and then whether you have access or not, you can make your contributions. Then there's also a document intelligence part. We'll be leveraging Azure document intelligence for the documents to extract the information from them, right? So we've added some resources basically in the repository, so you can please kindly check them out. Check the contribution guidelines. It's pretty straightforward, to understand how to make your contribution. So many resources for you here, right? They will be using Azure Document Intelligence to extract the text from the document. So let's say somebody uploads a document, we extract all the information, then perform the chunking and embedding. Then after then, the person can now make requests. So that's basically how RAG works. But each time everybody can upload the document of their choice. That's the way we're building this solution using Streamlit. So with this link, you can get started with um, um, Azure AI Documents Intelligence, right? Okay. So there are other resources from Microsoft Learn. Let me just quickly share that out. I think that is added to the repo already. Or if it isn't, I'll add another resource that we can use to get started with Azure Document Intelligence. So basically, it's an API that you can easily, pass a document to extract text, and it understands. I mean, it's state of the art basically. So if there are some, images and some other things like that within the documents, it can read text on those images, extract all the information and stuff like that, so that we can have a very good context properly extracted from the document each time somebody makes a request. So you can check out Microsoft Line, right, to get us started with Azure Document Intelligence, right? Some of those resources are linked to the repo, like I already mentioned. So with that, I think I've thoroughly explained what the project is about. Like I said, the reference is like using ChatGPT for, when you upload a document and it uses that as context. And also in this sense, can communicate with speech. So your voice response, your voice query, and you get a voice response. So you have the Azure Speech Service. So we can go through all that on this call, right? So this basically just to explain the project. But I believe with this, we are familiar with what the project is about and how we can make contributions. So I'll be moving on to the second project or like second AI project, for data science. But this is more data science focused. But before then, I just want to know if we have any questions before I move on.
Hello. I have a question. As a front-end developer, is there any way for me to contribute to this AI one that you just mentioned, the speech to text AI?
Okay, so for front-end projects, GitHub Campus Expert have some projects set up, and they'll be like talking about that soon, right? Just after I explain this. But of course, I mean, it's not like entirely restricted to your track or something. If you are interested in, getting started with AI or, building AI related solutions, the project I just talked about is very beginner friendly. It doesn't require too much technical know-how because we're mostly leveraging APIs, right? You're not building your own models from scratch with all the maths and Python and maybe TensorFlow and PyTorch and the rest of it, So with that, you can easily get started with AI. But for this second one, it's more data science focused. You have to write some mode, create some models, do some explorative data analysis and stuff like that. So if you're not very familiar with it, it's also beginner friendly for data scientists, right? But of course, for you that do front end, the first project would be a good way to get started with building AI solutions. And of course, leveraging the APIs from Azure. But just after this, like I mentioned, David that is going to talk on the projects that GC has in store for web developers and software engineers. I hope that's fine.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. There's another hand. Please, you can go ahead. Dev, Kev.
Okay, so hello. All right, thank you.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, I can.
So on the documentation,
All right, thank you. So
I don't.
Hello.
Hello, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Anas, please give room for Dev first. Okay, you can go ahead.
So thank you very much. Yes. So my question is regarding the project. Are we going to also be concerned with things like deployment? It's in two parts, right? Are we going to be concerned with deployment? That's one. And also in contributing to the project. I mean, what's the extent of the kind of changes we can make? Can we change the architecture, maybe add things like an API server, maybe restructure the modules, move code around? Like, are we allowed to do that? What's really the extent of our contribution to the project? Or thank you. So those are my two questions.
Yeah, thank you very much. So most times, right, project maintainers, or let me say project owners, have already set up continuous integration and continuous deployment. Is it deployment or development? CI/CD basically, and I think you might be familiar with that. I mean, you sound pretty much very experienced. Yeah. So once though these projects have not been deployed, they are built from scratch, so you won't really be concerned with deployment. Once Hacktoberfest ends, and then we feel that everything is maybe up to standard to a very good extent, the maintainers, myself, and some other volunteers working on this challenge would finish it up as much as we can, and then, or if it's not done already, and then do the deployments. For the AI projects, we're just going to use simple Streamlit interface, nothing serious with HTML or JavaScript or stuff like that. Just Python code with Streamlit. If you're familiar with Streamlit, you know how maybe simple, straightforward it is, right? And then as regards contributions, you can go to any extent, but as long as it doesn't deviate from the existing architecture, like you mentioned, right? So let's say for the speak to docs one that I mentioned, we're leveraging OpenAI, right? Azure OpenAI. We cannot say want to move to Gemini or you want to use cloud or something. It has to remain with Azure OpenAI. Or you can't say I mean, you could come up with your own. The idea currently is to, let's say for the vector store, want to use an open source vector store. So something like maybe Chroma DB, or since it's going to be using Streamlit, like each one, so each person can upload documents at each time. And of course, once they leave the website, it's cleared or something. So we can use an in-memory vector store that will just be stored for that particular session that the person is using the web app to. Right. Those are like some other open source tools. So we can't say, oh, let's use Pinecoin or maybe something like Azure AI Search or something. We have to like follow the existing structure that we want to follow, things like that. But as regards maybe refactoring your code, you'll find a more optimized way to do this, or maybe the starter script that we even created is you feel it's not optimal, so you can go as any length to make your contributions, as long as it doesn't deviate from the structure and like the main goal of the project. Does that answer you, Dev?
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Anas?
Yes, you did. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Anas.
Okay, I see you made mention of Python. Is it the tech stack we are going to use, mainly Python?
For
I'm not
the
familiar.
AI project?
Yeah, for the AI project.
Yeah,
Mostly PHP and JavaScript.
okay. So for the AI project, it's just Python. But like I said, David will be coming up soon. So I'll quickly run through the second project, and David will come on to share on the software engineering project that they have. So whether you're familiar with Python or not, we have something for you. So you can just hang on a bit.
Okay. Also on the docs here, the WhatsApp community, I can't
Yeah.
find my university there. So try
Oh,
join any.
what's good is that I'll try to reach out to ambassadors if they have a community set up there and get the link.
Bayero University Kano.
What?
Bayero University Kano BK.
Sorry, what country is that?
Nigeria.
Oh, okay. Sorry, come in. Maybe type it in text. I'm not hearing you well. Sorry.
Bayero University Kano.
Oh, okay.
That's the name of the
Oh,
university.
Bayero.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't hear you well. I would reach out to confirm. I think there's some student ambassadors in that school, so I'll get and confirm if they have a student community set up there, and then get the link to you.
Okay.
I think you registered for this event, right? Or
Yeah.
you just joined in? Okay.
I registered
So
for this event.
okay. So you can reach out to me. How would you do that now? Well, do you have my contact or something?
No, I don't have your contact. But
Okay, you
I can
mentioned.
share my email, your email, if you can share your email.
Okay,
If you're comfortable with that.
I'll drop it in the chats now, so you
Okay,
can
then I'll
just quickly reach out. So
message.
I'll follow up with you. Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Okay, no problem. Thank you so much.
I think it should drop some in the chats.
Okay, I'll message you now with my email.
Okay.
Okay, I'll also do the follow-up. No?
Yeah, all right, no problem. Think I don't know. So I'm wondering what's happening, why it's not sending the ball. Okay, I think it has dropped now. So let me quickly run through the second project. Sorry. We plan to do this within an hour. Let's see if it's still very feasible. So the second project is on analyzing and predicting crime in Nigeria, basically, right? So we have a data set that we got from Axled. So it's that's you can check out them basically. They are linked here and everything. So we collected the one for Africa, and then we just separated just for Nigeria because of Nigeria. So we can do some. So we want to have a full analysis report on the crimes going on. So even if you're a data analyst, for example, you can do a full uh, report basically with that particular data set. Be as creative as you wish, and then you can also contribute that to. And then as a data scientist, you can do your full and analysis in a separate notebook. So the idea is to have a separate notebook for your analysis, so you can see the nomenclature here, and then another one for your modeling. So these are just like sample um, um, scripts that you can use. So if you want to make contributions to this particular repo, all you have to do is, of course, like I mentioned, create a fork, and then if you want to add a notebook or something, you've done some analysis and everything, right? What you need to do is create a folder, like you have the sample here, experimentation underscore your GitHub username. In this one, so it's going to show you have this explanation.github username on another folder, explanation underscore maybe Sammy Bams, another folder like that, of different people. But I'm just saying when other people make their contributions. So something like this, right? Where you have this was for last year, but we had the three projects in one. But let's imagine project 3 is the Nigeria crime analysis crime trends repo. So this is just how it's going to be. So you can see different contributions made by people with this nomenclature. But in this case, it's just going to be experimentation underscore your GitHub username. So we'll have all this. So basically, this particular project is very flexible, right? Go out to the extent you want to do the standard modeling notebook would be added soon, right? It's basically done. Will be added soon. So the one that are there are just basically dummy notebooks, right? So the data is also here. It's a CSV file. I mean, for beginner data scientists or anyone, basically, I think we are very familiar with working with CSV files. So you will find that very easy. So the sample has been linked here of the sort of analysis that would want you to do something like really, really, really detailed. So this is a sample of analysis on crimes in Africa from 1997 to 2023, March 31st. For this Nigeria crime trend is from 1997 also, but to September 2024, right? So you would have seen that from the name. So up to September 2024. So you have different records of crime in Nigeria down to that point. So this is a sample of the kind of analysis that we want you to make, and also maybe total number of fatalities per different event, as well as the battle actors, trends, the rate of crime. This is the rate of crime in Africa, basically up from 1997 to 2023. So want to do something similar for Nigeria, a full-blown analytics. Maybe, of course, these are countries now, but of course, in Nigeria, we will be focusing on states and things like that. And then you can go ahead to do your modeling, right? The standard notebook would include what we're trying to achieve with the modeling. So you can always go on to check that, right? So I don't know if anyone has any question for me. If you want to, so one important thing that I think I didn't mention is you can go ahead to check the issues. So the issues are a very good startup pack for you to get familiar with the project and some ways you can contribute. So you can see this particular issue saying train and process the data sets. So you can go ahead to say you want to work on it, and then start working on it and different sections. So it's basically when you're making contributions, you want to make contributions in sections. It's not that you work on the whole code and then you now make one whole pull request. You work on a part so that you can properly document your progress. So that's why we have these different issues. For the other projects too, you'll see that we have some other issues too for with different sections of what you can work on. Documentation enhancement, if you want to improve the documentation that we already have. The handling multiple files for uploads, external memory storage, error handling, document retrieval, that's like the chunking and everything I mentioned, transcription for your audio inputs, using Azure Documents Intelligence to extract the documents, details and everything, the Streamlit interface that will be used for deployment, and do different things like that. So you can go ahead to check the issues to see where you can get started. So this mostly it's right. We have the contribution guidelines and everything, the leaderboard that would be populated each time the commit is made or the PR is made, and then we keep checking to see how much impact to make. There will be a leaderboard and there will be monthly prizes, weekly prizes, right, for top contributors per week on our end. And that will be a LinkedIn premium voucher, a 6 month LinkedIn premium voucher for each, like, top contributor per week. And then at the end of Hacktoberfest, there'll be a final prize. GitHub Campus Expert also have some interesting things for you. We'll be working hand in hand for the prizes and maintenance of the repo to see how everyone is rewarded for their contributions. And basically, the goal is to help get started in open source and continue. So beyond the prizes, see it as an opportunity to learn and get familiar with GitHub, open source, Git, and basically get better at coding too in general, contributions. And then this is like an idea of working in a team, right? So a simulation of how you can work with a team in real world corporate organizations. That's what open source also teaches you. And then you can also include some of these projects in your resume. So beyond you making your contributions and or you get your prizes or whatever, these are projects that you can include in your resume because you worked on it, right? You made meaningful contributions to it. So that will be it from me. If you have any questions, please you can indicate now. And then David, you can go ahead to talk about what GitHub Campus Expert have in store for us. Yeah, Bringer.
All right, thank you very much for the section. So at first you said because while we were giving an example initially, so you said we fork the repo at first.
Yeah.
And so after we fork the repo, we automatically have the repo on our own GitHub profile. No, then you made some changes right then and then on the GitHub page. We want to ask it out. Assuming I want to write some codes and all, it means after I fork the repo, I have to clone it to my system, right?
Yes, you have to clone
Then maybe make my changes, then push back to my so once I push back to my repo, that is now when I will create a pull request, right?
Yes, exactly. So we have a guideline
Okay.
too
Okay.
on how you can do that locally. So if you want to work directly on the web app, like website with GitHub, that's the example I showed. But you want to make your contributions after you've cloned now, for example. So you've cloned and you've cloned to Nigeria Crime Chess, whatever, in your own local. By the time you clone, you will now be having this will no longer be MLSC Nigeria, it will now be your own username. So you just get the link from your repo and then clone. So let me just quickly see if I can run a sample. I might not clone locally, but I just want to show you the process. So you will see this the fork I made, this speak to docs, right? We see the speak to docs fork I made. I would also have to go here, get the link, and then copy and do something like a git clone on my terminal, right? So let's say I open my terminal. So once I open my terminal, there's also a particular this first video here under contribution to MD explains how you can get started in making your first or how to do your first pull request. So this will teach you how you can clone and everything. So let's say I want to have this in my download or something, right? I will go into my download and I say it's clone, whatever it is, and then it begins to clone. And if I go into my folder, I can see it here. You can see today. It's already there. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yeah. So it's already there today at 16:59, which is just now. I just clone that. You can see all the details, everything that is in the repo is now here. So you can now go ahead to follow all the other guidelines that we have. We want you to work in virtual environments. So you create a virtual environment, whether you're on a Windows or a Mac, and the steps are there. So if I want to go ahead, right, I'll just do like Python. I'm on a Mac now, Python 3, then speak to docs. Following this, I don't know if you have, there with me. So speak to docs and I enter and continue like that, and then I make the virtual environment, I activate it, I install, I go back into the folder, I install the requirements to text. All these processes are outlined in this video, which I would recommend you go through. And then when you set up that virtual environment, and make all the changes you want to make, then you push back. So we have the sample here. You add, make your commit message, you push, and then you come back to GitHub, just like I did initially, and make your pull request.
So I'll be making the pull request on the parent repo and not on my own repo now.
You open your own repo, you see that option. The option of contribute was on my own that I saw it. So this is my own personal Samuel, my own repo. When time you made a change, you see something like contribute. This is here. So it's from here that will open that pull request. It's from my own, I've opened that pull request so that it will now go to this main one that I got it from. I hope you get me. Yeah. So by the time I push changes, I will see all the, it will be reflected, it will reflect here. Just like the last one, it was for 20 minutes ago when I showed you that example. It will reflect here, and then I'll now make that pull request and okay, these are the changes I've made. I want you to merge. Then the maintainer can now go ahead and okay, oh, I've seen this guy's pull request. Let's say imagine I'm one of the owners of the repo or Medicine Nigeria. I now go to yours. I've seen your pull request, which is made by this person, and then if I feel that is good enough, after I've checked, I would merge it. You get me? So that's how basically it works. You can check out that video. It's a great guide. So just like you mentioned, I clone, I set up following the guidelines. You want to make sure that you follow the guidelines so that you're using the same version of libraries or whatever it is, so that deployment will be straightforward, right? And you set that up. I don't know if that answers the question. So you can as well work locally too. But that's more often than not you would need to do that.
Yeah, it does. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I'm guessing there is no other question. Def Ken, I think your hand is still up by mistake. Maybe you want to drop that, or do you have a question? Def Kev. Okay, I'm guessing doesn't have a question. So okay, he has dropped his hand. David, I believe you're still on the call. So you can go ahead now.
Yeah.
Are you able to, do you need me to help share my screen, or are you able to share screen?
Can I share?
Stop sharing.
Can
Try. Yeah, try sharing. Are you able to?
He said only meeting organizers and presenters can share.
Oh. Let me see if I can fix that. Okay. I just made you a presenter. I think you can share your screen now.
Okay. Yeah, awesome. PowerPoint. Okay. Screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's coming up.
My screen.
Coming
Okay.
up. Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay. Can everyone? Yes. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Good evening, everyone. Hope we're having a great time. So yeah, my name is David. Thank you so very much. Before I start, thank you very much, Samuel. I appreciate it. Yeah. So welcome to Hacktoberfest once again, 2024, and the GitHub Campus Experts UNILAG team in partnership with MLAI Nigeria. We are offering this. We organize this program so that people who are just beginners in open source or people who are experts in open source can improve themselves. You understand? And so the MLSC side of things has been spoken about intensively well by Samuel, and he has also shown you basic introductions to Git and how you can do your merge request or pull request, or anyone you want to call it, and your PRs. So I will just go straight into the projects that are there. So in the GC part of side of things, that's GitHub Campus Expert side of things, we are sorry. Was anyone saying anything?
No, I think someone was unmuted. You can go ahead, David. Sorry about that.
Okay, awesome. So on the GC part of things, we have projects spanning across the front end, back end, and DevOps. And also, I think someone asked about deployments. Yeah, we are working. There will be a task on this side also about DevOps, where people will, because we will need to deploy some of the services we're building. So um, people will also raise that as issues for people to collaborate and fix that up for us also. So on the DevOps, on the GCA side of things, we are building two major projects. One that will help people majorly for people that might want to just start open source, which is it's a very popular product, which is a URL shortener, and that is a URL shortener. This is developed by going to be developed by the GC side of things, and it's going to be shown on the repo, on the GitHub Campus Expert repo, which you see here. If you go to github.com, GitHub Campus Expert UNILAG, you're going to see the project here. Also, we have a CLI. Okay, let me just start like this. We have three projects. One is called the URL shortener, which I started with, and then we have a password manager, which is a Python tool used for managing a CLI to use for managing passwords. And we also have a developer utility product, a developer productivity product. So we called it DevZen. So basically, the nature of and the way we are going about this project is that in for the GitHub Campus Experts and DevZen projects, we've divided it into front end and back end, and we've also done the scaffolding for both of them. So if you're cool with JavaScript, or you don't know so much about JavaScript, you can learn on the fly and try to contribute to this. So it's a DevZen is a product for enhancing developers' productivity. So what do I mean by that? There are so many things. I'm a developer, and there are so many things. Sometimes we just want to practically, just speed up and just try to on like I need to get the answer for this thing immediately. And sometimes we need to check some tools online. Sometimes if we want to like let me give for example, you're a front end developer and you have a lot, you are querying a payload, you are calling a payload or consuming an API. You're consuming an API, and then you have a lot of payload and it's in JSON format, but the issue is that this thing is all jumbled. Sometimes you find yourself going into tools like I think JSON formatter and every other thing that exists, and then you paste it there, you try to validate it, and you check the shape of the JSON that is coming. And also sometimes if you are working with CSV or YAML, or there are times where you want to convert, maybe if you are writing maybe some stuffs in a particular language, like maybe Golang, and you have your SQL and there are times, okay, it's in YAML, and maybe you want to convert it to something different, maybe in another text format, like maybe CSV, maybe any JSON and anything. Most times we check other tools in different websites just to achieve those things for us. But why should we be going to different why should we be going to different websites when we can just have a solution that embeds everything into one? And that's what this DevZen is for. So DevZen spans across different utility operations that developers do, like sketching. There are times that me and my guys, we need to design a system, or there was a time we were tasked with the responsibility for, okay, we had to design a search engine for a particular use case. We had to just develop a search engine for a particular use case. We had to jump on a call and then began to use different tools like Escalidraw. We've gone to use different tools like TLDraw. Just to explain the thought process of how we are going to go about it, and we are drawing out this is just my own personal my own personal stuff, and what we're designing, of what I was designing in terms of code. and I'm using different tools just to achieve this. But what we're trying to achieve in DevZen in this project is that we are bringing different set of utility tools together, where you will just have it, where you just have a single place where you can go to and also and just get your things done. So in this project, there are different stuffs. We categorize them into three major areas like formatters, converters, and generators. In terms of formatters, sometimes like JSON formatter, this is the design, and you are going to have access to it in the what they call it in the GitHub repo. So this is the design. We have a JSON formatter, an SQL formatter, a Markdown formatter. We also have URL parse. We have converters, and for popularly used, we have CSV to JSON, JSON to CSV, CSV to YAML, YAML to TSV, and anything you need. So, and we also have generators. Generators are basically tools that's used to like either generate or decode stuff. So like now a cron job parser, there are times you are given a task and you need to know, okay, how do I specify this scheduler for this stuff, and then maybe you need to go to cron tab, and instead of going to different sites, we are bringing different, we are just bringing all these utility operations into one place. We have also HTML preview, and we have the Zen board, which people can use to collaborate. And you can see this. This is just like basic and nitty gritty. You can see this. What do you call it? This icon here. That's an icon. There, see this icon or this image here. It shows that we are also working on making it also working on making it collaborative. Not all features here are collaborative, but the sketchboard, the Zen board, and also the HTML preview are collaborative. So yeah, that's just the summary of what they call it of Zenboard, one of the projects, the first project in the GitHub Campus Expert. So the front end, if you have any question, please, you can just interject me. I will stop. Do you understand? So the front end repo has already been, the front end repo has been set up. There are maintainers that are already in your group chat. I know most of you have joined the contributors group chat. So the maintainers, even for the Python MLSC group, I don't think Samuel mentioned that. For the Python MLSC projects, the maintainers, they are on the contributors group chat. So if you have any question, they are there to help you. So this is the GC front end for DevZen. We are using for the tags, for the stack, we are using React TypeScript and React Router, and we are using Tailwind CSS. It has been set up already. You can go through it, clone it. Issues will begin to pop up immediately, very, very soon. Do you understand? And you can begin to pick issues and begin to work on it. There will also be, I don't know, pick it, but we're throwing it out. We wanted to add a GitHub workflow for continuous integration, continuous deployment, but we're also going to keep it as an issue so that anybody that wants to, like, I mean, despite anyone that wants to just have a feel of what it's of the feel of what it's, if you've not done it before, I mean on the front end, you can use this as an opportunity for you to learn. So yeah, that is that on the front end side of things. Then we also have the back end side of DevZen, which is written in Node.js and written in Node.js, and the stacks Node.js. We're writing it in Node.js, Express.js, and we are using MongoDB MongoDB to for sorry, did I say MongoDB? We're using PostgreSQL, not MongoDB. Sorry, we're using PostgreSQL for the deployment, for the database things side of things. We are also deploying, and the deployment has not yet been set up, but that will also be an issue. That will also be an issue that people will pick up, and you can collaborate on to deploy it together. So yeah, you can. The project is public for everyone to see. You can go through it, and once the issues begin to roll out, you can begin to pick. You can begin to pick from them. Again, the maintainers for each of these projects are on your contributors group chat. So if there are any issues you have, any question you have, you can just ping us there, and you will get it. That's that's basically everything for the DevZen. Um Now, the next one I'll go to is Snap Link, which is the link shortener. The project has not been set up, and before the end of today, everything is going to be ready. When Snap Link is basically a link shortener that is used for, I mean, everyone knows a link shortener. I mean, a link shortener with QR code ability. So we are basically using next React on the front end, the same stack across for the devs end, by using the same stack for the front end in the say in Linkly in this
Uh,
Snap Link.
sorry,
Sorry.
David. Yeah, sorry. Is it possible for you to increase your screen size, maybe like 50% or something, like on for the Figma design?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
How
thank
about
you.
now?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
much
Sorry.
better. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, this is just like this is the link shortener. For the link shortener, for the front end, we are using React, we are using the same stack for the devs, and we are using it here. And for the back end also, we're using Node.js. There's a probability we might have a separate repo that might be also for the back end, and it might be in Golang, but we are not yet certain on that, because we know we are seeing some people want to work with Golang, but if we see the number of people that want to work with Golang are I mean tangible enough, we can create a separate backend repo. While for the people that want to use Node.js to contribute to the project, we use Node.js, and the people that want to use Golang to contribute to the project, we use Golang. So we have two backend repos, and at the end of the day, the maintainers will choose which backend we serve the front end. So that's just by the way though. So yeah, that's basically everything from the GC part of things. There's a front end part. There's a front end provision for anyone that wants to do front end. There's a back end provision for anyone that wants to do back end. There's a DevOps provision for anyone that wants to do DevOps. So yeah, that's basically everything for now. If you have any question, I'm open for it. Thank you. Oh, Lord Era. Okay, Lord Era. Lord Era, you're
Yeah,
raising
hi,
up your hand.
sorry. I just wanted to
Yeah.
ask how we can get into the group chat to, I guess, be able to converse with each other and get started on the various projects that we choose to contribute to.
Okay. Okay. It was on the BC, the broadcast we sent, but let me just drop it here. So I'm dropping the link here. Do you get? If you want to join, this is the link to the to the group chat. If you want, okay. Oh,
Yeah, it's I
Samuel
already
even pasted it.
yeah,
Oh, cool, cool,
yeah.
cool. Makes sense. So, some your answer is, and Lodera, I hope that answers your question. Awesome, awesome. Samuel, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that I dropped it already on the group too. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Any other person? Any other question? Okay, so I think there's no question. Everybody understands. For the Figma link, remember the Figma link will always be on the GitHub repo, so people people get to see the Figma link. You can go through it. Also, the maintainers have they've done the basic stuff for people that want to contribute, for you to understand the folder structure of how everything is happening. Also, I think so. I don't know the person, but somebody was suggesting if there was a need for re-architecting, can you do that? If you find now that it's best for you to re-architect, for us to re-architect the project, you can suggest that to the maintainers. You can, I mean, you can even raise that as an issue. Do you understand? You can raise that as an issue, suggest it to the maintainers, and you can pick it up as an issue you want to work on, and then you raise a PR I mean, that's if the maintenance accept it. If the maintenance accept it, you pick it up and then raise a PRO, and then that will also be part of your contribution. I mean, as someone said, meaningful contributions. Let me just send the URL for the GitHub Campus Experts stuff to the chat. So if you want to check out GitHub Campus Experts, you can check out the repos there that are available. Yeah. Thank you very much. Any other no question, right? Cool. Sama, do you have anything to say?
Yeah. Thank you very much, David. Thank you very much, everyone. Um, so I just want to share my screen. David.
Can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to share my screen. If so, thank you very much. Okay, I believe everyone can see my screen now. So we've talked about different projects. We talked about the exciting things we have in store. Their prizes also, right? I don't know. Maybe David does want to mention the prizes, some of the prizes GC has in store. But all that will be communicated on the group chats. And then you'll be seeing some posts from us, maybe from LinkedIn, Twitter, and then on different tech communities that you belong to. So you can be looking out for that. So I just wanted to mention that, and a very important thing is the prizes Hacktoberfest also has for you while you make your contribution. So generally it's 4 contributions, right? A total of 4 that is required for you from Hacktoberfest. But from us, of course, we have our own personal prizes for you, so you can make as much as possible, of course, like David reiterated, meaningful contributions. So but I just wanted to draw attention to like the Hacktoberfest website. Let me quickly drop that in the chat before I continue. Right, so it will also be dropped on the group, and you see the links too in the repository. It is important for us to register so that you can get your merge requests also counted towards Hacktoberfest. So you can easily go here, register, go through whatever, how to participate, maybe some introductory things, some of the things that we also mentioned. You can go through again to see how you can get started with open source. And if you read through here, you can see that projects that have the Hacktoberfest tag are the ones that count. So, our projects too, I believe all of them already have the Hacktoberfest tag. So once you make contributions, it will or your pull requests are merged, it will count towards Hacktoberfest. You can check how you want to participate. If maybe some things are not clear, the prizes and everything. Basically what Octobers are doing. You might just want to just go through and see what it's all about, and some of the prizes that you get. For last year, some of the prizes was I think some vouchers, I think $50 or $100 on Digital Ocean, and then generally you also get a tree planted in your name, which is very interesting thing. I am not sure they are partners with those that particular organization this year, but I think they did that like for 2 years consecutively, as far as I can remember. So it's a very interesting thing for you to get started with open source, and Hacktoberfest is one of the most popular ways people do get started in open source. If you're already knowing, if you're not already into it, and then as regards our own challenge and prizes we have for you already, I think is an important thing for you to follow along with. So thank you very much for staying up to now. I hope you have a full understanding of different projects, right? Like I mentioned, the UNILAG chapter is doing in partnership with GitHub Campus Experts, and for MS Nigeria generally, you might be seeing some of these flyers around too. So thank you very much, everyone, for your audience, and we hope to start merging our pull requests as soon as maybe even tonight. You can start checking out the project. Thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Also, sorry, I wanted to say something. So, also we would like to take metrics. I mean, across the two communities, we love to take metrics. There's the leaderboard there, so try to, I mean, make sure you try to show up there. Try to be, I mean, just try to make sure your contributions show up there. Do you understand? We also love to take metrics. They will come in later on. For those that the metrics, we will try to track those that just started open source, those that just um, or people that have been doing open source for a long time, and this is just, I mean, another way they're just pushing themselves. Do you get? We'll try to take all those metrics. It will also help in informing the prizes that will be sent out. Do you understand? So yeah, just watch out for that. And if you're having any issue, please, again, if this is your first time, don't feel intimidated. We created a group for you to ask that dumbest question that you want to ask. The group is meant for it. So just ask, and we'll get to answer you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Happy merging and happy contributing. Yeah.
Yeah. Happy Hacktoberfest. Happy open source. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Samuel. Okay, now we'll see you guys. Bye.